following is a conversation I had with Jose Luis Buchares Valencia, a co-founder and the CFO of Be More 3D, the first company to 3D print a house in both Africa and Spain. Because of the Wi-Fi condition, we were unable to record the video of this call, and so all we have today is the audio. So I see on your LinkedIn that you were a founding partner. Now you're the CFO and you're responsible for a lot of the design at Be More 3D. So can you tell me about the origin story, about how you kind of met your team members and how you guys got started?
Yes, of course. First step, we started in the 3D printing plastic, company, and we started doing some types of prototypes and little things, like keychains for companies and something like this. And in one day, we think about if we can, if we can mix the studies we have and the startup. We started in this year, so we can we prove better. We prove to include to sell the different materials, to construct, to try to get a prototype, a little prototype of the 3D printing machines. That is the first one we work.
Sure.
And we always say that it's very important, the first step, that when we buy the first part of the machine, one component, it's a nice idea of the interest of a company, in do something. I think
you guys are the first company, I believe, to have a full house done in the continent of Africa.
Yeah, it's the first house in Africa and the first one in Spain 2 years ago. Yeah, well, in the Spanish houses, we finished it with all the parts, the electricity, the weight, all the things. But in Africa, I don't know if now it's finished or it's only the walls, the structural walls that we printed in September, that we printed.
I was looking at your website, and it seems like now a big part of your concentration as a company is on the material set part.
Well, the company is focusing now in two areas. In the first one, it's to fabricate, and develop and fabricate machines, and improve it. And in other part, we are looking for the selling of the materials, that we can offer to the final client the part of a local material, from Spain. And we offer another possibility, that is to certificate a local material from the country that buy the machine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, so that you don't need to transport it too far. It's more you're supporting local companies. The whole thing just makes a lot more sense if you can secure the materials locally.
Yeah, we think in the best part, it's cheaper to develop one local with local materials, one mix with our formula, and we can certificate it with the University Polytechnic of Valencia, that we work together in a lot of projects and tests, and different proof of the materials and the 3D construction system. And well, we choose these two options, to sell the material. Yeah, and with that money, we can work a bigger machine, the machine, I think you can see in our web. And construction and building the first 3D printing house in Spain in the same moment. And then when we always try to improve the machines, the materials. We are to involvate in the E plus C area, no, in the part of the 3D printing, of course. And then we try to improve the machines a lot in different parts, no? And now we can offer industry 3D printing machines ready to work 24 hours, 7 days, no, in the different part of the world. And well, in other part we have now another project, no, another inclusive project in Spanish is the Neotech Hub. And in that area, we are looking for do a new prototype for new machines to can be print 4 or 5 plants in the same place, you know, that the buildings go. For the moment, the machine we have, it's only one. The limiter in height from 3.5 in the best, or in the largest option, no. But we can change the size of the machine and something like this. So the bigger one, it's like 3.5 in the height, no, in the Zeta F. And then we are looking for changings, and if it's possible to do a new machines that can do more plants.
So you developed your own printer, and instead of buying it from another company, like a lot of people are doing.
Yes, we developed in the first step a little one, no, like two meters from long, no, or more or less 2 meters, and we improve it and well, we construct it in the garage of one of our partners, Vicente, no, in Buñol.
Yeah, cool.
We're in a country near from Valencia. And we try to buy the different components and assembly, you know, looking with Joaquin, you know, we are another partner that now it's not on the company, but they they're helping a lot of things in the electronic parts too, of course. And yes, and we developed it. Then the second one, we try to scale it in a bigger site, no, and there is the right the right form, no, of doing something. It's to test and fail, no, sometimes. And in this last part, no, this last step that we are now, we work with different companies and industry and electrical companies, and they have another options, another opinions for the different systems and the materials that we can go better than the first prototype. And well, we look for improve it, no?
Yeah, I'm sure it's such a new industry that I'm sure the improvements are going to be constant. And I'm sure your company is always going to be looking towards how you can make better materials faster, stronger. I saw you guys are trying to make it lighter and improve, like figure out the insulation stuff more. But so in the beginning, when you started, was it a company that you started with the same partners you have now, but it was just for smaller plastic 3D printing?
Well, three of them, yes, and one of them, no. We started the first one with Noel, and then the boy needs to go because their works and they can work together. And then we put another one, Joaquin, that is the CTO, no, in the company. And then last month they need to change the the opportunity to continue with us and look for another company. So for the moment, we are three. The three we started the company, but it's not the same fourth that started. No.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you understand.
And so now you don't do any printing in plastic, or do you still balance both?
Yeah, for the moment, you continue printing in plastic in different projects, and we have the different culture of clients, no?
Okay,
That
cool.
we work together.
You expanded your company into large scale concrete in addition, so you do all kinds of 3D printing.
What's it?
You expanded the company to do like more types of printing. So you're saying you still print plastic, Be More 3D still prints plastic stuff, but you're expanding into large scale concrete as well? Or is that your primary focus?
No, our primary focus is to sell the machines, the 3D printing machines for concrete, no?
Okay, yeah.
In the second step, we can offer in a local region, no, in Spain, the service to printing houses or something like this, no, different monuments and something like this. And in other part of the area, no, we separate two areas inside the 3D print in Be More. No? There is Be More plastic, for example, and Be More concrete, no more or less. There's two areas, and then in the plastic one, we have one employer, no, that can work in this area and supervising for the rest of the partners can work, no, and do some type of works, of plastic works.
Great. Yeah, that makes sense. So when you look at different materials, where that's headed, do you think it'll go towards geopolymers or maybe like a foamcrete kind of option, like the super lightweight, maybe insulatory thing, or what's your intuition on that?
Well, for the moment, we change a lot of times our 3D printing mix, no, the Formula 3D is last name we both need. So for the moment, we develop only one material that we can sell, no. The other line, yeah, is to certificate the local materials that the final client can be apport us. And in our part, we have an inclusive area from a new materials, no, that it depends on different types of materials. In that moment, we are looking for geopolymer. I don't know the meaning of it's geopolymeric stone. I don't know if it's can look. If not, it's like the waste of the boards.
No,
the waste of the slate. No, maybe
it's a pretty general term. It's like geo means like from
the
earth,
polymers,
and polymer is just like polymers. Yeah, so it's anything, I guess, natural. I don't know. A lot of people say that they're using geopolymers, and it's kind of a confusing term because it's so vague. Like, I guess a rock that's mixed into a formula to be a polymer or to have like polymer properties would be considered a geopolymer if it had like rock dust or something natural in it.
There is a geopolymers, but it's a slate waste, I think. It's I don't know if it's the slate, this type of stone.
Sure.
Slate. It's a slate, yeah. I look in the translator. It's well, a percentage of slate waste, no, from different construction or something like this, and we are looking for develop a new material. In one part with this material, in other part we are looking to to take it's like a resin mix, no, to take a bath and something like this. But this is a new a new area that we are not developed a lot. And in our part, of course, we're looking in well, with the university, another company that have developed an insulation concrete that we are looking if it's possible to print it. And another company that we works have a thesis, no, a doctorate thesis from the new material with a type of sand and I think it's
Like silica, nano silica.
Sand and straw or something. Yeah, straw. It's a straw and clay. Yeah, a straw and clay.
Cool.
Something like a big material, no, and it's for defense. But the problem that we look in this clay material and the insulation concrete is the resistance for the mix, no. But because the Spanish normatives for now it's needs no require that the walls can have more than 25 MPa for megapascals, no, of resistance. And with these materials is less, no, than this value. So it's maybe a problem to take a resistance.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you built the house in Spain, was the local municipality supportive of the project?
Well, in Spain is a new technology. It's not a lot of important, no, in the government and some institutes. I think, for example, in Africa or in South America, there is a lot of projects that will involve, no, this technology. For example, Hong Kong, no, that when we have a lead or a contact that they want to buy the machine and show it to the population, not to the people when start this printing, and there's more than here, no. We are trying to do a different activations, no, a different building here in one in Valencia and a local rooms, no, in the area near from us, from Valencia. Another project in Barcelona, and another one, if it goes well, in Mallorca, no, in Balear Island.
Yeah, cool.
And then, well, we have more projects, but it's in negotiation. No?
In Mallorca, that's supposed to be like,
and I think with what do you say?
Is the project in Mallorca supposed to be like a resort, like a hotel, or like somewhere people stay for vacation, or is it a house?
No, it's a singular house. It's a singular house for one client.
Cool. Mallorca is like an island that a lot of people, it's like a travel destination, right?
Yeah, right.
So in Barcelona and Valencia, the governments, as far as like permitting goes for the project, they must think it's kind of crazy, a totally new like thing they've never seen before, right?
Yes, that's one part that we want to know in the Libya's project, that the local room, it's we are talking with the government. I don't know the government of the town hall, sorry, and look if it's possible, not to do that first local room in one step, and then we try to put another house similar than the university ones, and look if it's possible, to look for investors and do something with the town, with the town hall, to look if it rural hotels or something like this, using the 3D printing and looking, in other town halls, the possibilities, for that technology.
Yeah, it's definitely the most difficult when it's the first project of its kind in a municipality, and so they don't know how the permitting works, and they're not really like sure the process. It like kind of confuses them, and people down the line, when this technology becomes much more common, they probably won't even realize how much work has to go into the first projects.
Yeah, correct. Totally comfort with you, of course. It's not only the city halls, it's sometimes the constructors and the people, that have to take the decision to buy this technology, to buy this new technology. Of course, there is the mind of the constructor people. It's all than mine, for example, and maybe it's normal to look if the traditional systems works well. You must to defend a lot this new technology and this new system. It's better than the traditional one. And there is difficulty if not has a lot of arguments, and I think no more than arguments, exit cases, I think.
Yeah, certainly. So there's a lot of companies that are trying to like print about the project. Some companies are selling printers. It sounds like you've both done a bunch of projects on your own, but you sold a printer to that organization in Africa. So as a company, do you think your primary objective will be building printers and developing materials and selling them, or doing projects yourself?
No, for the moment, I think it's better option to building the printers, and selling around the world, and then if it's necessary, we can offer in different parts not the seller, the rent of the machines. I think maybe it's another area, another possibility. But for the moment, we don't have a specific department to do that work. And I think it's a hard work.
Certainly. So I looked at your website, and it doesn't look like there's somewhere you can just like purchase the printer. So if someone wants to buy your printer, how should they go about that?
Yeah, the problem is the web. It's now refreshing a new web that we are now developing, and implementing the new parts, to sell the machines, the part of the the contact of the clients, the support area, I want to say, and the different options that we can offer, to the clients. For the moment, is the machine. The web. It's not the best, the best of the last web.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have a cool solution planned, though. When do you expect the new website to launch?
Maybe the deadline is to put it in September, but maybe it's on October, because we have a lot of work. We want to put new videos and more material for that area, because only have a render of the new system, the new solution, but we want to take a real video with the machines works and something like this. So maybe on that month, that's next month, we do that videos and regarding more material for the web.
Okay, so I'm still a little confused as to if somebody wants to purchase your printer, if they like, should they wait until the new website is out, or should they like get in contact with you, or what's the process look like now?
Yeah, the normal process is to contact us with the web. No, you can put the contact us button, and then we receive in the company mail, no, the info or 3D or sorry, point com. We get the lead and the contact, no, and then we send back the answer to do some meeting or a Skype meeting like this, for example, and try to know the necessity of the project that the client needs, and to offer it if it's necessary, no, the 3D printed machine.
Yeah, cool.
With the different options, of course, we can build it, we can fabricate the machine. So we offer different size, different options. We have an automatical system to leave the machine, no? And different options that can change the customer. But in the pack, no, it's not only the machine. It's we offer the machines, the pump that works with the concrete, no, with the mix, the different guards for security and something like this, and for 1 week formation, no, with 2 people from our company to explain the software of the personal software of the company to work with the machine, no? And 2 days from a practice explication, no, for a 3D printing. Well, and they print a pilot one, a pilot building or something that the client needs.
So what's the price on the printer right now?
No, more or less it depends of the different options that I said, but it's around 180,000 more or less.
And so it also requires a pump, right? Or a mixer?
Sorry?
It requires a concrete pump and mixer?
Yeah, it's included the pump of the the pump. It's well, the mix is together, no? In the we developed a mix that is a dry mix, no, that only needs to mix the water in the pump, and they put the material inside the extruder, no, the bottom of the machine.
Yeah,
and then the machines works in the different axes and put the material. I think I can put my screen to show you a video that can show better that what I'm talking about. So it's the first step, no, is the foundation, and it depends from the project, no, and then you can put the whites in the pavement, no, then you assemble the machine.
Wow, you were
in that moment, no, there is all the packs, no, that we can offer. There is the security guards, the pan, no, to put the material, the option of the automatic lifting, no, movement of the machines that you can open the zero code, no, and well, there is the idea of the material that we have now, that you can put directly the material in a dry material, and then the pump mix the water. It depends the quantity of water. It depends principally from the temperature and the humidity, of the ambient. And then one part in 1 hour, not to take the PC or the screen, that can work the machines, because we have a software that can change some parameters before the printing and during the printing.
So you're sensing the water requirements, and during the print, you're able to adjust the inclusion of the water so that you can have the right mix.
Yeah, correct. We need to adjust the quantity of water during the process, because it's not the same to print at 12 o'clock, to 12 from 3 o'clock from the middle day, to work in the last part of the day or in the first part of the day, because the temperature and the humidity of the ambient, it's different, and probably needs more water in that moment.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
For
sense.
example, in the desert in Arabia Saudi, there is a printed one that you really do, the biggest one, I think, and all the videos you can show it in the line. You can show that all the videos printed in line, because the temperature of the ambient, it's more better in that hours than in the middle.
Yeah, the video,
and then
it's sending over very slowly. Like I see maybe one image every 5 or 6 seconds, but it's good. It's better than nothing. It's helpful to see the rendering for sure.
Yeah, well, I have different pictures, but it's the same we were looking before. And there is the other machines that we will send in October to Africa. There's one example of the different options to do with the layers. When printed has done, you can change the final layer, the aspect of the layer to that. And it's sometimes it's one that photo the picture you can show better. Some is better in plate or something like this in that area, because it's too difficult to put the material. One of the officers needs sometimes a plane to work, something like this.
Yeah, the material.
Yeah, more or less, and that's different approach.
Especially because there's so many factors at play. Like you're saying, the humidity changes from morning to afternoon, and then every single location you're printing has a different collection of local materials that are available for the mix. So really, it's so many variables that are constantly changing. So it makes sense that it's going to take a long time in order to develop it. It would be great if there was some kind of central solution or resource that really explained all the material development stuff, because so many companies are independently doing stuff and maybe kind of wasting time doing the same experiments. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. There is a lot of possible projects, that the 3D printing system can be a better option. Always I say, that in a big promotion, obviously you can look better the advantage, from this material, because in a few resume you can print 70 square meters houses, around in 8 hours, and in a traditional system you must delayed in 2 weeks, no, more or less. So in timing, you have a lot of wind time, no, in this area. And the construction, the time is the same of money, no, to earn more money.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like some companies are more afraid to like show their projects if it doesn't look like perfectly lined up or whatever. Like I saw the house that was printed in Africa, like not every layer is a perfect line, but that's not important. You got that's the first project done in Africa. And so it's like you guys are willing to share stuff about all the projects you've done. Whereas some companies like Winsun 3D, they try to only show their like best top projects or whatever.
But in the project of Africa, of course, we look the machines that we printed that the houses is the oldest we have. No, the first prototype we set up and we can work. And for the moment, obviously, we improve a lot of the final, you know, the terminate of the layers and something like this, because we look if in that area it's probably to can improve it. Of course, the possibilities of the 3D printing is not more than the finally of the revestment of the walls. No, I think it's more in the part of you can work with a definite, limited, sorry, different planes. No, of you don't have to use formworks to take the walls and something like this. So you have more liberty to do the final design you have on your mind in the 3D printing system than in the traditional system, of course. And in the second part, if you can repeat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you eat breakfast cereals ever? I guess maybe that's kind of an American thing.
No.
Forget it. It's not important. But it's just kind of how sometimes advertisers will, for a commercial, do things that don't make sense. Like if it's a food commercial, maybe they'll like spray hairspray on food or something to make the food look more tasty or more shiny, even though you're spraying hairspray on it, so you can't eat now. Yeah. And it's like fake to make it look better, you know?
Okay.
So I think there's some companies.
I understand.
Some companies are kind of faking stuff to make it look better, whereas it seems like Be More 3D is very transparent, and you're like telling it how it is, and like you guys know where you're at, and you're not like afraid of like telling people what's going on with the company. But that's a good thing, because then it gives people like the reality instead of like painting a picture of something that isn't even real.
Yes. No, in the 3D printing, I think it's not a lot important. No, the area finally it depends from the necessity, the necessity, no, from the clients. In sometimes it's more important the government's decisions, no, it's a good idea to offer a low-cost buildings, no, for BPO, no, something like this in not developed countries, no, or something like this. In Africa, for example, it's a nice solution, for example, because they work only with the normal blocks, no, the concrete blocks, and without anything, no, in that wall. So 3D printing system, they won a lot of time, and the handwork, no, in Africa or in South America, for example, there's a lot of times the constructors tell us that on Monday and Tuesday the people come work, but on Wednesday or Thursday, no, maybe they don't appear because they have money to pass all the week and something like this. And there is a big problem for to take the constants, no, and the time lapse, or sorry, the timing of the building, no. And in this area, for example, it's a best option, no? Because if you can do the structure in one day, you can obviously put another things, another part to work in that area on the next day, no? And it's not depends in a lot of sometimes on something like this. I think
So
it's more depends to.
the project in Spain, what kind of supports were you using? It was just all supported by the concrete, or you used rebar as well?
In the part of the 3D printing,
Yeah, the walls were 3D printed in the House of Spain, and it's only concrete, or is there any, it's just a wide layer?
some armed or steels or something like this. Yeah, well, the material have a polymeric fibers that is for the retraction for the material, and then in the part of in principal, the part of the union from the foundation and the
And the first
sorry,
layer.
and the the first layer and the foundation, and as well the part of the roof, no, with the walls. There is the connection of that. We are looking for an architect that we develop a different details, no, for situations, for different situations that we can pass the normative, no, of course. And then if you need to put a vertical arm, no, a steel or column, no, or something like this, the 3D printing can offer a final form work from the material. No, you can do the square, the square with the machine.
Yeah, and then just
And
the concrete and put
the empty square, then put the steels, no, and then you can put the material inside.
Yeah, cool. You're the CFO, so I'm sure you're responsible for a lot of the talking to potential investors and fundraising. Are you guys currently looking for investors?
Yeah, well, for the moment, we are now in different helps in Spain, no, different presidents and well, helps like Neotech, for example. There is a project that offers the 70% of the financing of the project in E plus D in that part. Then we won a different AdWords, no, from different different congress and something like this. And in other part, we're looking to open a investor round, no, through when the machines, when the Moroccan machines go out, no, and we take more importance, no, because if you, well, we think it's you sell now the machine, the part of the company, no, you maybe lost money because the moment is not valorating the in the line we think it's we can arrive, no, and we will arrive in the future.
I think that's very smart because the valuation of the company could be much higher in 3 or 5 years. And so if you keep working on your product before you take on investors, it gives you guys a better situation. But it's a unique situation because a lot of startups are just constantly searching for their next round of funding, trying to get more money, really hungry. It almost makes it more interesting to investors. I mean, it's more important that you guys develop your materials and technology. You need time right now to figure that stuff out more than you need more money to do it, it sounds like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty uncommon for startups. To me, it sounds like that's the reason why it's like so promising. because some startups, like you see these big companies like Theranos get these billion-dollar valuations just because they're so good at fundraising. And then at the end of the day, they're not providing the services that they intended, and the whole thing goes bust and everybody loses a ton of money. So it's much better to be the opposite kind of situation where fundraising is not your like primary concern and you're more worried about your product and making everything like effective. It seems like a very healthy stage. It's exciting, I'm sure, for you guys to be a startup in such a fast growing industry. The CAGR, like the projected growth rate for automated construction, is huge.
Yeah, sure. In that part, the help, no, the investor part, obviously, sometimes is important, but in the moment we can continue with that, and well, we have a different offers, but it's not the offers that we want to listen, no, and of course we want to continue working hard and looking if it's possible to take 2 or 3 sales machines more on this year, sorry. So in that case, we can continue alone, no? And look if it's interesting to look at a new investor or new foundation.
Have you ever considered doing some kind of crowd investing, like crowd equity funding?
No, I will look for with a Madrid company and to look at like a crowdfunding system, but they say that we can try and then, but it's more specific for a little projects. No, this is a big one project, so you can offer a 3D printing house if you don't know if you send a lot of money or something like this.
Yeah,
Maybe it's difficult not to do that in that area.
that's like for Kickstarter or something like that. But there's companies that do equity crowdfunding where you can set your valuation to say like $10 million and then issue however many shares, and then you can sell 5% or 10% of the company, and then you get $500,000 or $1 million if the equity fund like goes through. I don't know. Have you looked into?
I don't look in that area. We'll talk more in the part of when I think it's similar from the private investors, no, that they pay a part of the company a percentage and they then look to sell it part in multiply, part of to want money, of course.
Yeah, but the difference is they have since they're like single investors and they're investing like maybe $5,000 or $10,000, and there's like 100 of them. They kind of have a higher risk appetite than one investor that's investing all the money themselves. So they're like less nervous on an individual level, and also on your books.
Yeah, of course.
On the bookkeeping, so you don't have to consider them as each individual investors. I'll send you a link to a website. A friend of mine has a startup that he just raised money on with this platform, and it worked for them pretty well. They were able to raise like $300,000 at a $6 million valuation in like 45 days. So I don't know if that's something that could work for you guys or not, but maybe it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, we look in Valencia, it's Lanzadera, that is, I think, similar than City Invest, no, that you said that it's a group of investors, no, that they have the possibility to invest in different projects, no, and works together with a lot of investors. So maybe it's that you say, no, you have more relaxed, and have more options to want money with this area, of course.
Some websites have requirements.
In the moment, one of the things.
Good.
Yeah, maybe the most important thing that we consider is that we don't need for the moment, that type of invest is that we need not only one person that put money in the company. No, we need maybe a partner that can offer us a part of our company. No, I don't know if you understand, that can work with us. No,
Yeah,
that not only
you
pay
want a
part of
partner.
the company and stay in other band. We need a part that come with together with us, and they're in the same boat. No?
Yeah, you want a partner with experience that will contribute. That makes sense.
Correct.
I've read up on some studies about construction innovation throughout history, and the most common factor in successful construction innovations was partnerships. And the projects that were successful were the projects that were able to bring multiple companies together and make it happen. Construction is kind of unique in that, whereas like some successful companies like Apple, they kind of work on their own and they don't share their technology with anybody, whatever. But in construction, all innovations have been a result of kind of big partnerships.
Yeah, it's better, I think, a partnership. Finally, once in two areas, no, in one part you have more capacity to have money, no, to the treasury of the company, and in other part you have you can have more part of the cycle, no, of the company cycle, of the process, no, you need, of course. For the moment, we talk with Cemex, for example, that we developed together the material. Cemex Spain, it's a big one, cemetery fabric, no, and a Mexican sede. But we talk with the Spanish bosses, no, and different persons, and we collaborate with them in where we develop the material together. Or together, they only put the box, no, we develop with the university, and then Cemex have the distribution of the material. But for example, in that case, we was more interested in Cemex, for example, to put money in Cemex, because we know they have partners in the cement part, no, for example, that makes sense for the idea that we commented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then of course, when we publish the new web, and we can send you the same materials that appears in the web or something like this, then you can take some video, or when you know the focus of the meeting, and the party wants to talk more, or to show it better, no? Yes, we can look for that, of course. There is no problem.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for your time today, Jose.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Jared, for your time too. And then what I say that you need, we can talk and do and look if it's possible.
Yeah, cool. We'll certainly be in touch later on.
Okay, see you. Bye.